Hello, this is a guide for D&D 5th edition to make a character, a tutorial for anyone who's starting out. Anyone who's already done this before a few times, done a few adventures, this probably isn't worth watching, but here we go. So, there are multiple parts to your character sheet. This is an example of one here. You have the name, or the character level, the background player name, faction, that is not necessary. The DCI number, that is not necessary either. That is for if you're playing at a registered Wizards of the Coast store. Experience points, alignment, race. Got armor class, initiative, speed. Your hit points, in this area here. Your inventory here. Your abilities and features, traits here, and your stats here, along with proficiencies in languages you can speak down here, and here are the role-playing sort of things. So we're going to make a human paladin today, and I'm going to explain the steps to you. So, for this you will need a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition player's handbook and a character sheet. You can find the basic standard stats for your characters on page 13. You can't see that because my camera won't focus, but page 13 of the player's handbook, and they're just here: 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. You can assign these stats to any of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 stats. So, as a paladin, this man is quite strong and he's quite wise. So, he's going to have 15. He's very, very quite strong. He's quite a strong man. So, he's going to have 15 strength. I'm not going to write it in the box just now because there are modifiers that your race will add to it. So, I'll just write it next to it. 15. And then I'm going to put 14 under his wisdom because he's quite wise. He's also quite a tough man, being a paladin and fighting off the fiends of evil. So, 13 for his constitution. He's not very dexterous, so I'm going to put 8 near that. He's quite charismatic, he likes to talk to people and ask them about their issues and see if he can help them out. So, 12 for charisma, and average intelligence. So you can see those written next to those. So now you will need to find your race here. Human is on page 29, and on here in this section you'll find everything you need. Here, see right there. Human traits. So, this is the main one here. Ability score increase. Your ability scores each increase by 1. So, what that means is that all of these numbers down here are increased by 1. And then I'll write those in these little small ovals here. So, 16 for strength, 9 for dexterity, 14 for constitution, 11 for intelligence, 15 for wisdom, and 13 for charisma. Some of these won't affect the modifier, and some will. So, also, there are suggestions for names. Over the page is a different race. The humans are different. There's different races of humans, so they have different names for each kind of thing. And that's all there is to humans. They're very straightforward and simple. That's why I chose it for this first tutorial. So now you need to go to your class, or just find the class page if you're following along. So, Paladin can be found on page 83. And they you'll have to, it gives you some information on how to quickly build them. It gives you a table of when you're leveling up. And for Paladin, since they only have a few spells, it has their spells in here. This is another important section you'll need. Just here, the class features and the equipment. And then it goes into your sort of stuff. So, Paladins have 1d10 hit dice per Paladin level. So you fill that in just there. 1d10 PL, or per level, so that's it there. And then it says hit points at first level. It is 10 plus my constitution modifier. So now we need to figure out what modifiers we have. So you need to go back to page 13, and in the top right hand corner there's a table that tells you the scores and the modifiers. So going down the page, 15 is +2. 16, sorry, is +3. 9 for my dexterity is -1. 14 for my constitution is +2. 11 for my intelligence is nothing. 15 for my wisdom is +2. And 13 for my charisma is +1. So, humans are good at basically everything, but not amazing at anything. Your initiative, this one here, is sort of how fast you can react to situations, and that is just your dexterity modifier. So I have -1 initiative. Speed for a human base is 30 feet. It shows that where it shows what pluses or minuses you get to these here. So that's where your speed goes. So since Paladin had hit points at first level, being 10 plus your constitution modifier, 10 plus 2 would be 12. So 12 hit points next to my hit point maximum, and here is where you would sort of keep track of your hit points during combat, and here is any sort of debuffs you get to your maximum health or buffs you get to your maximum health that are only temporary. So we're going to fill out his proficiencies now. So on page 84, under class features for Paladin, under proficiencies, all armor, shields, simple weapons, martial weapons, no tools, the saving throws of wisdom, charisma, athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. I get to choose 2 from. So you write down the armor, shields, and weapons here, and you fill out the rest of these dots here. You colour them in or put a cross through them or mark them some way if you're proficient with them. So I choose to be proficient in persuasion. This man likes to resolve situations without combat if possible. He also is proficient in religion. He's quite a religious man, hence why he's a paladin. So, your starting equipment, you would write in here or in here. So, you have multiple choices. You can see, or as you may not be able to see there, but you have multiple choices. You can have a martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons. So I'm going to take a warhammer, which is a 2-handed hammer, and you put them in your weapon slots here. I will show you how to do the rest of the weapons in a minute. 5 javelins or any simple melee weapon. Oh, and I have a shield, so I'd put that under equipment. Um, 5 javelins or any simple melee weapon. We'll take 5 javelins. Just there, 5 javelins under Warhammer. And a priest's pack or an explorer's pack, he'll take a priest's pack. Priest's pack there, under equipment. He also has chainmail and a holy symbol. You don't get to choose there, that's just something he has. So, chainmail. This man would wear his holy symbol around his neck as a necklace, sort of thing. And then you go back to the first page, or wherever this table here is located for whatever class. And you would fill in your proficiency bonus, which is there. And whatever features you get at first level in here. So paladins have divine sense and lay on hands. Lay on hands is a very potent healing spell that gets stronger the higher level your paladin is, and divine sense is sort of a passive skill that you sort of have a sixth sense, like a spider sense of when something unholy or demonic is near. So that's where you put them, under features and traits, in this big sort of column here. And the paladin doesn't get any spells aside from lay on hands at first level. So now the background is the other important thing that you need to do. So the backgrounds start at page 127 in the player's handbook. There's a variety of things like acolytes, charlatans, criminals, entertainers, folk heroes, which is what this paladin is. There is a multitude more of them, but I'm not going to go through all of them today. So you come from a humble social rank, but you are destined for so much more. Already the people of your home village regard you as their champion. So it gives you some more skill proficiencies. So I have the skill proficiency in animal handling, survival, one type of artisan's tools, and land vehicles. So these are going in here again. Animal handling and survival. Tools, one type of artisan tools. And you get a set of artisan tools, one of your choice, shovel, iron pot, common clothes, and a pouch of 10 gold pieces. Here are where you write down all your different currencies. So you've got copper pieces, silver pieces, I forget what that one is, but the next sort of one up from silver, then gold, which is your most common one, and platinum pieces. And there are exchange rates for all of those, so 10 gold pieces. Oh, okay, slid back a bit. Sorry for being in the way. Yep, so that sort of thing. Oh, common clothes are the other important one. So you'd be writing all this down in here, but I'm not going to do that all today, or else I'd be here for an hour or half an hour. So, and I don't feel like doing that right now. And you can get defining of there's things that can happen with each classes that you can randomly roll for or choose or just make up on your own. So, for example, I'm going to roll for this. A D10, defining event. This is what probably made you the folk hero. If I can grab a D10. This will do. So, 4 or 40. 4 on this is you stole from a corrupt merchant to help the poor. So got sort of a Robin Hood sort of thing going on there. So you could write that down in personality trait or something like that, or just keep it in mind for your character's lore when role playing. You know, you might bump into that merchant. He might be angry at you. You know, the DM could work that sort of thing into his adventure. So now that we've filled out sort of most of the important stuff, it's time to do these. So what these are, you can probably just make out these faint sort of abbreviations for these down here. So, for example, acrobatics is dexterity, animal handling is wisdom, arcana is intelligence, and so on and so forth. You use the modifier here, and if you're proficient, you add your proficiency bonus of +2 for a paladin at first level. So, I'm just going to fill in the ones I'm proficient with, because it will take a long time otherwise. So, animal handling, wisdom, my wisdom modifier from before is +2, so I have +4 to animal handling. Persuasion is charisma, which I have +1 to. But it would become +3 because I'm proficient with it, so +2. Religion is intelligence, which would just be +2 because there is no base plus, it's nothing. And survival is also wisdom, so that would also become +4. That is most of the basics. Of course, you would fill everything out up here. So the player name, the background that you chose. So folk hero, class and level, paladin, level 1, race, human, alignment, probably something. This paladin would be lawful good, which is like the best you can, a law-abiding citizen. Experience points, 0 so far. And then faction, whatever order or paladin order you're in, so we'll call it Order of the White Lotus. Can't fit it all in there, so Order of the White Lotus underneath. Wizards kind of squishes everything in a bit up here, so. Character name. Leave comments down below of what you think we should call this man. Oh, one last thing. To find your stats for your weapons, your damage, you need to go to page, in the player's handbook, obviously. Page 149. This page here with a lady beating a skeleton on it. And it'll have a big table of stats and weapons. You find your weapons on there. You write down their stats. So, a warhammer is 1d8 bludgeoning. Or if you use it with 2 hands, 1d10. So I'm going to put down 1d8 because I have a shield, so I'll probably be using it with my shield. 1d8. And B for bludgeoning damage. Javelins. 1d6 piercing. So 1d6. P for piercing. So you put those in there. Your attack bonus is whatever sort of modifier they use. So for example, a javelin is thrown, which means it uses your dexterity, so -1 for that, but the warhammer uses your strength, so it would be +3. And yep, that's the basics of making a character, essentially. I'm going to be doing some more videos on character-based tutorials, role-playing, creating more characters, class reviews, background reviews, race reviews, all that sort of good stuff.